We had 28 cases, but we had 32 recording studios
Right.
that we were doing things in. So the club itself, we had, I put in 3 cases, I had 2 other drummers that put in 3 cases. We had 4 drummers that put in 2 cases, and then the rest was single. We had wonderful time for a good, solid year before the...
Stuff started disappearing? Well, I joined, you got me to join at the Hit
Yeah,
Factory.
at the Hit Factory.
And this was one of these things where you could run around different studios with a key and open up and get a good snare drum, a good pedal, a good set of cymbals, because they didn't have studio sets back then.
And at that time, you always had the tom-toms delivered. The bass drum is the only thing that they kept in the recording studio. So that's, what they used. So tom-toms had to be delivered. It was part of the cottage. And you could either have a 4-piece set or 5. 2 toms on the floor.
Yeah.
And the snare and everything else was all there. All of the hardware we kept in the kind of suitcases that they used to have going across the water.
Yeah,
The big trunks.
The big ones.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we had.
Yeah.
So we had 28 of those that we actually had made up by the young man who had his own drum shop. His drum shop became the drum shop in New York.
Right.
So put him on the map, because he used to be in the basement on 49th Street. He was in the basement while he moved up, came out of the basement, got a shop twice the size, because what we end up doing, we bought all the equipment from him. Did the 32, we end up with 28. We end up with 28 cases that we had made for him to make, and then buying all the equipment, and then once a month, all he had to do was to replace anything that got broken or missing, because we were working all the time. So he didn't have to do it for 5 years. He did what he needed to do, and he just grew like this. And then he ended up on the last place, was it 46th Street? On the 10th floor, 8,000 square feet.
Wow.
That's a big shop.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it anymore. He just didn't want to do it anymore. I said, okay, that means we got to find somebody else. Found Doopy.
Oh, right. I didn't mean
Doopy had a truck, and he was a short guy, but the name of his company was Doopy's. That was his nickname.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that it was his last name or something like that, but that was his nickname that he had for years. And he had done construction and did everything, but he had cottage. He had a cottage taking amps and drums and everything else and bringing them into the recording studio. We tear it down, and he'd come pick them up, take them, and deliver them to the next studio that you want. And because we had our list, and we mark on there, okay, A&R for tomorrow or the following day or someplace else. He came in and he built a nice little business. We gave him the job. But that's what we did. That's how things got done. You work together.
Yeah.
And then going from one studio to the other, I knew all of the musicians. So we do lunch together, or we do dinner together.
Yeah.
And if anybody had a problem about something, well, what do you need? Give me the money in a minute. You could walk into any one of us and pick up $400 or $500 like that. And if you needed more, somebody else would do it. And cash. no checks, didn't have to give him cash. Okay, well, pay me back when you get a chance.
Would you excuse me, I
guys
have a
have to
special
excuse me.
delivery.
I don't
No.
know if he had his vegetables.
Now, this man is busy, him being busy as he was, is the reason why I got studio sessions in New York, because when he couldn't make a session, I got some
Yeah.
calls from some of the same people.
Yeah.
And without him being busy, I would never have gotten in the studio.
So that worked out win-win.
Oh, you bet, oh, you bet. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, sit down and have dinner.
Get all that, you know.
Man, I haven't seen him in